crazy, but that's good. All right, so we've got a chair, and that's it. We're gonna start on our backs. With our chair at the end of our mat, right? And try to have a bit of space. You can bring your arms overhead. Bring our feet nice and close. We're gonna lie on our back, soles of the feet on the floor, and we're gonna bring our knees together. And then we're just gonna imprint and arch our back just a little bit. We're just loosening up that low back. She's so funny. She's like the most loved dog on the planet. If she doesn't have 30 people adoring her, she starts to get pissed off.
But she loves you until the next person gets off the elevator, and then she doesn't have to.
It's the welcoming community.
That church is covered love.
And then find that neutral pelvis where the pubic bone, hip bones are level. Knees together, feet together as close as they can be comfortable. Feet on the floor. We're going to inhale to open the knees. We're going to exhale to close the knees in a creeper. Inhale to open the knees. Exhale to close the knees. And so just really thinking, what I want us to find today is opening the legs from the inside, closing the legs from the outside, right? So as you open the legs from inner groin to inner knee to inner ankle, as you close the legs from outer ankle to outer knee to outer hip. And then let those knees arrive open, but the outside of the leg is still closing. And I want you to go to the back of the leg, the hamstring, the back of the knee, the calf, and I want you to lift them up, okay? So visualize, it's kind of the shape of a ceiling and a roof. So I want you to understand that the bottom of your leg is the ceiling and it's going to lift up onto the roof, and the top of the leg is the roof and it's going to push back onto the ceiling. So the inside of the leg opens, the outside of the leg closes, the back of the leg lifts, the front of the leg pushes. Good. And let's just bang out some thoracic park series just to warm up our upper backs for those back bends. Reach with your elbows, make nice big, huge circles. Show fingers on the shoulders. Funny how Nick always has all the lights on and I always have none of the lights on. So I'm always looking for light switches when she leaves. I'm like, where did she find that light? Okay, there we go. That's electricity. And then change direction with those circles. If it's too much for you to hold onto your shoulders, then you can just imagine you're holding onto an imaginary ball. And then stopping with the circles, elbows at the shoulders side, exhale to touch the elbows, inhale to open, opening and closing the doors. And then arms on the floor, exhale elbows to side ribs, inhale elbows up. Exhale elbows to side ribs, inhale elbows up. And then let those arms come beside you, palms facing up, let the shoulders relax. So we're going to go from a creeper to a cobbler. Feel free to go back to a creeper if it's too much to do a cobbler. So in a cobbler, the soles of the feet are going to clap and the knees are going to come wide. Press into your feet. Exhale to close the book of the door. Lift your legs up from the outside. Outer hip, outer knee, outer ankle lifting. Inhale to open the book of the legs from the inside, inner groin, inner knee, inner ankle. Exhale to close the book of the leg. Inhale to open the book of the leg. So almost like a butterfly, and some people call this butterfly pose. But I want you to think about the movement coming. You close from the outside, we open from the inside. Now go to the ceiling of your leg, the back of the leg, lift it to the roof of your leg. Pull the knees apart. And then go to the roof of the leg and push it back onto the ceiling. So we're finding those 4 directions. Good. Now open the book of the legs to hold. You may want to take your fists and put them where your outer trochanter's would be. So kind of where your butt meets the pelvis. And then try and lift your outer hips off your fists. Lift the outer trochanter's to the inner groins. Open the book of the leg, close the book of the leg. So particularly the outer trochanter's have a hard time closing the book of the leg. That's why I kind of like the fist to bring awareness there. And you think about lifting your outer hip off your fist towards your inner groin. And then move your inner groin back to your fist. So there's a sandwich between what we call the outer hip, outer trochanter, and the inner groin. And then lengthen your inner groin to your inner knee. Inner knee opens the book of the leg. Outer knee pulls towards the outer trochanter. So we get this circle of energy. Outer trochanter lifts, inner groin lengthens, inner knee goes to the floor, outer knee pulls back towards the outer trochanter. Now lift the ceiling of your leg towards the roof, almost like you're trying to pull those legs apart from the back body. Kick your Achilles towards your ankle, ankle kicks towards your Achilles. Move your calf towards your shins, and just see if you can lift your heels up a tiny, tiny little bit. Now give me 10 more breaths here. If it's too much for the hips, you go back to feet firm on the floor. Too much for the knees, you go back to feet firm on the floor, or you just close the book of the legs a little bit. You put a little boundary on the stretch. Ideally, we've got a nice neutral pelvis, and that's going to help us to really release those hips. When those 10 breaths are complete, bring those knees together. Let the knees touch, heel, toe the feet apart. Baby toe edge of the foot nice and straight. Now imagine you've got little balloons underneath your arches and lift those balloons up. So you're blowing up balloons underneath your arches, and then see if you can lift all 10 of your toes. Knees are touching. If you feel your knees, you bring your feet closer to one another. Imprint and arch your low back a little bit. And then find a neutral pelvis. From a neutral pelvis, you might like to lengthen your back rib cage away from the pelvis. You might want to lengthen your skull. Interlace your fingers, right hand on top of left, bend your elbows, flip your palms, straighten out your arms. Lean into your back rib cage, and a nice inhale to bring those arms overhead. Give me 10 big breaths here. Now lift your wrists at an angle. Don't lose your pinky fingers. Relax your shoulders. And then inhale to bring your arms back up and over, bend your elbows, flip your palms, swap the interlacing of the fingers, flip the hands away from you, straighten out those arms, relax your shoulders. Now lean into your back ribs, don't change your back rib cage, see if you can bring your arms towards your ears. Focus on your body, focus on your breath. And then nice inhale to bring your arms up and over, bend your elbows, flip your palms, release your arms beside you, let the shoulders melt. Give me 5 big, big breaths here. And then when those 5 breaths are complete, we're going to heel, toe, our feet in. We're going to take our legs onto the back of the chair. Chair is on the mat. And I want us to have so that our backs of our knees are on the edge of the chair. And I want us to take our legs wide so that we're pulling the legs apart. So we're opening the both of the legs. And then I want you to imprint and arch your low back. If having the backs of the knees on the chair is lifting your pelvis, then I'm going to grab you a blanket. So raise your hands if having the back of the knees on the chair makes your pelvis lift. We're all good? Nobody's that petite. So John, can you have the backs of your knees on the edge of the chair? Like Jeremiah beside you. Yeah, so you want, and stay with you over there. Yeah, so you literally where the crease of the leg is where you want the chair. And then imprint and arch your low back. Have your knees as wide as your feet, right? Good. Yeah, and we really want the crease on the crease. Good. 0 rotation. Nice. Now push hard down into your legs, imprint your low back, no pillows for the back bends. Push into your arms, push into your legs, and come up into your first back bend. So palms down. Push into your palms, push into your elbows, push into your shoulders, lift your butt. Did you feel that? Not that, actually, not that. And then move the flesh of the butt away from the low back, lift the middle of the butt up towards the sky. Good. Just keep breathing here. Push into your fingers, push into your palms. Lift that booty. Now think of the back of the leg, right? Lifting. The ceiling lifts. The roof pushes back down. The inside of the leg opens, the outside of the leg squeezes. We need to find our feet. If we ever want to heal our knees, the number 1 ingredient is our feet. And they've got to be real strong. So push me away. There we go. And we don't want any rotation. You feel how you're totally externally rotating. So you're going to go to your quads and you're going to internally rotate those femurs. Can you still pull apart without externally rotating? Right? You can. I think I can. And then we're going to come down 1 disc, 1 vertebra at a time, nice and slow. 1 disc, 1 vertebra at a time, nice and slow. And then once we're down, we're going to find a neutral pelvis. We're going to slide the heels to us until our thighs are at a 90-degree angle. And we're going to cut our hip flexors towards our back groin. So with the neutral pelvis, think about moving your hip flexors towards where your hamstring meets your butt. Now without lifting your pelvis, push your legs down into the chair from the roof, lift up from the ceiling. Inside of the leg opens, outside of the leg closes. Inhale to bring your arms up, flip your palms so they face to one another. Flip the palms back and forth. Keep your hands a shoulder's distance apart. Have your middle fingers pointing out, have your middle fingers pointing to one another. Good. And then flip it so the middle fingers point to one another, lift those wrists, wave at yourself, back and forth. Good. Internal, external rotation. Good. And then stop and center. Flip the palms so they face the other way. Internal, external rotation. Chandra, I need you to move. I should have got you your mat. Can you scooch? Thank you. And then bring it so that there's no wrinkles in your wrists. The fingers are pointing straight up to the sky. Without moving the forearms, bring your thumbs to you. Notice how you wrinkle in the thumb wrist. So check me out. I've got no wrinkles in the back of my wrist. My palms are facing to one another and I'm pulling my thumb wrist to me. My wrists are over my shoulders, so I'm getting a wrinkle by my thumb, okay? And then I'm gonna get a wrinkle by my pinky by taking my pinkies back. But there's no wrinkle in the palm or the back of the hand. And you're gonna go back and forth, just moving your wrists. And then take the thumb away and hold, lift the thumbs, good. Open and close the hands with the wrinkles in the pinky. Open the doors, close the doors, good. And then go back to palms together, flip the hands the other way so the thumbs are wrinkly, open and close the door. And so we've all seen that there's 4 sides to the wrist as well, 4 directions. There's a lot of other directions, but we find 4 first. And you can see when there's wrinkles there, right? Now try to not have wrinkles, right? See if you can find your wrist without wrinkles. Bring the fingertips to touch, beautiful. Pull the arm bones all the way out like there's a helium balloon underneath your fingers. Exhale to bring the arm bones all the way in. Inhale to bring the arm bones out like there's heliums lifting your arms up. Exhale to bring the arm bones all the way in. So we're lifting our arm bones out of the shoulder and we're sinking our arm bones into the shoulder. The humerus bone is moving, elbows are remaining stable. Good. Now find just right where the arm bones are out, but not all the way out. It feels good in the neck. Now without moving your quads, lift your heels. Fire up those feet. No losing the low back. Pull the elbows apart a little bit as you root into your fingers. Lift those legs off the chair. So the first thing we did is we took the thighs to a 90, right? And then without the knees going wide, you know your medicine. You've got to squeeze those knees in. Then try and lift your heels without changing the legs. So legs are still a hip's distance apart from the ankle to the knee, right? So your hips are not that wide. Good. So I really don't care, and you shouldn't care either if you do not straighten your legs. I really don't want your thighs to move, and I really do not want you to change the rotation, right? Stable feet, no rotation, thighs don't move are our priorities. Do a shin lift. So shin lift means we lift the legs, lower the legs, without the thighs moving, without a change in the knees or the rotation. Good. And here you've got a little pillow. Nice. Doing our absolute best not to imprint that low back, so we're getting a lot more bang for our buck. Good. And then straighten as much as it's comfortable for you. But be brutally honest with yourself, right? You lose the pelvis, you're getting 90% less than if you keep the pelvis, right? You move the quads, you're getting 90% less than if you keep the quads. Now, if you want more, you're going to exhale to bring your fingers towards your thighs. You're going to inhale to take your fingers towards the floor. Exhale, fingers towards the thigh. Inhale, fingers towards the floor. Elbows don't change. Elbows remain that shoulder distance apart. Again, it's not about bringing your arms to the floor. It's about sustaining the elbows. You need a break and put your heels back on the chair. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down. Beautiful. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down. Let's give me 2 more. And then let's bring those arms up to hold. And you can rest anytime you want to rest. Relax your shoulders, right? Whatever your legs are doing is great, but there's no rotation. I'll repeat, there's no rotation. Inhale to open your legs. Exhale to close your legs. Whatever bend you got. Inhale to open. Exhale to close. If you need to bring your arms back over the shoulders, do it. If you need to put your elbows on the floor, do it. But 0 rotation, which means the whole inside of the leg opens, the whole outside of the leg closes. Pelvis doesn't change, ribs don't change, all the things. Remember, you can always bring those legs back onto the chair to rest. Give me 3 more. forward, and then hold open. Back of the leg pushing, front of the leg pushing back, inside of the leg opening, outside of the leg closing, open to hold. Fire up those feet. Take your outer trochanterus to your groins, lengthen from inner groin to inner knee to inner ankle to big toe mound. Big toe mound draws back to baby toe mound draws back to outer ankle draws back to outer trochanter lifts. You've got a ceiling, you've got a roof, you've got a couple books. Find all those connections. Big belly breaths here. Big inhales, big exhales. A little tweaky there. Yeah. So try not to go to your deepest, right? Yeah. And it's just, you just gotta learn that lesson, you know? It's a really hard one for you, but just think of it this way, right? It's a mountain. There's a green run, there's a blue run, and there's a black run. You are constantly hitting the black run. And it's not serving anybody, right? Do you really want to be black diamond skiing on a yoga class, right? And you know what it takes to be a black diamond skier. Have you put that work in? No, right? So it's easy to see it on that spectrum. You know what I mean? So you need to be a beginner on the beginner run where you're 100% in control, and it is a moderate effort.
Yes.
Yeah, moderate effort. And then bring those legs together. Nice inhale to bring those arms up. And then release those arms beside you. Bring the backs of the knees back onto the chair. Let's do another supported back bend. This time I want your knees and your feet truly at hips distance apart, but zero rotation. Get the backs of the knees on the chair so you can feel if you externally rotate. Internally and externally rotate a couple times. Notice how the inner knee comes to the chair. Notice how the outer knee comes to the chair. Inner knee the chair, outer knee the chair. Inner knee the chair, outer knee the chair. Keep your knees level on the chair. Push into your hands and up you come. Push into your shoulders. Fire up your feet. Big, beautiful breaths. Last one. Make it count. Push down, right? If your arms aren't working, what does that tell me? Your upper back's not working, right? And if your upper back's not working, then we're not cooking with gas. Push the hand, the fingers, the palms. Take those arms a little wider if you fancy. Push those big toe mounds away from you. So do you feel how these knees are externally rotating? Yeah, there you go. See if you got 10 more breaths left in you here. Do you feel the feet are externally rotating? Do you feel the knees are externally rotating?
I feel my feet are.
Yeah, and they're just like a track for your knees. So you feel that your knees are externally rotating. You feel that this is more on than this, so then go up here, right? That's your business. Because we can't have you doing deep back bends until you can control that. And the deep back bends, I swear, are so great as we age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if we can do it for that, if we could start in the next year and you sustain that your whole life, it's a different body.
I have to get used to this feeling exaggerated for me.
Yes. It's like a pendulum almost, but you're not
But I'm
pendulum.
not.
Yeah, it's like giving up coffee. One coffee feels like no coffee.
I get that back then before coffee.
What the heck? Yeah. No one's asking me to give up coffee because I won't even do it anymore. I won't even on a week cleanse give it up. I'm like, I'm too old. I can't be bothered. It's too drastic. I can have my coffee.
Latte no.
And then bring it down nice and slow, one disc, one vertebra at a time. Nice work. And then walk your feet to you. Interlace your fingers behind your thighs, right thumb on top of left, and just kind of push your legs into your thumbs. Like the thumbs are lifting up into the back of the knee, and you're pushing your kneecaps onto those thumbs, and just rock your head from side to side. Just your head to start with, and then the legs, squeezing the ankles and the knees. And then making circles with the knees. And then swapping the interlacing of the fingers and change direction with the circles. off to the right. Let's push ourselves up. Let's come into tabletop position, and from tabletop position, we're gonna come into a standing position. So knees underneath the hips, feet nice and wide, knees nice and wide, lift your belly, lift your ribs, walk your hands to your knees, lift your knees, walk your hands to your feet, bring the soles of the feet onto the floor. Bring your hands onto your knees and straighten out your arms. So this is one of the best things I teach. Bend your knees as much as you can. Now push into your arms like you're doing a handstand. Push, really strong arms. And then find the shoulders just right. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. We should be able to shoulder check in this position if you've got a neutral spine. A lot of us aren't pushing, right? So think of what it's like when you push in a plank or you push the floor away. Right, kind of push your knees away. I don't want any pain there, but I do want you to get a release where that quad attaches to your knee. And then from here, right, we're going to imprint and arch our low back. So this is me teaching you how to engage your upper back when you come into standing positions, right? So often we lift things and we're not using our arms. So elbows are straight here. Get those elbows straight. Totally straight. Everybody put your head in your elbows, straighten your elbows, and push. Right? Get your armholes just right in your shoulder sockets. And then find a nice neutral pelvis. Good. Now we're going to bend our knees as much as we can. Now this is body mechanics, and odds are we don't do this correctly, so we've got to relearn it. Okay? So pull in your belly, pull in your ribs. Don't lose the back, just lift your arms. Now find those arms so strong, just like when you're pushing down. Super, super karate chop arms, push down, up you come. Good. Pull in the belly, zip, zip, zip. That's your business. Palms forward, shoulders back. Nothing else matters, right? Like just this, right? You were nailing it for notification, not so much anymore, so we have to go back to nailing it. All I gotta worry about is this. All right, palms forward, shoulders back, take a couple breaths, bend your knees. Slow down your heart rate by slowing down your breath. All right, so let's put our hands on the back of the chair. We're gonna bend our knees. And we're going to hold onto the chair, and we're not going to have any wrinkles in our wrists. And we're going to walk it back as far as we can comfortably, but we're going to keep that same spine. So we're not hunching our back. And we can be here, or we can be here, right? But we're not hunching our back. I want you to bend your knees as much as you can right now. Show me a bent knee as much as you can. And then walk your feet forward so that your ankles are a little bit more underneath your knees. So right quite a bit further forward. Yeah. Good. So I would grow toes here. And then I would see how this is tight. So instead of coming down so much, I want you to lift up. Not your knees. I want your knees bent. Yeah. But I want you to try and relax here by pulling those arm bones in. There you go, you feel that difference? So what I'm doing is I'm pushing your body onto your arms like I'm taking that spaghetti and injecting it in, right? This is the stick, this is the marshmallow. We want to take the stick into the marshmallow. Perfect. Good. So, feel this marshmallow, right? So you gotta stop pulling so much into your back, right? It's just such a habit for you guys. It's a certain generation, educators too, right? Both of you. Weight of the world on your backs. Okay. Bring your hands onto your knees. Straighten out your arms. Beautiful. Arms straight. Back straight. Take your butt back. Good. And then push yourself up. So both of you boys, because we're getting this, right? You see this? There's no shoulder checking here. So both of you are going to do this. Right? And I really want your back straight. So you'll do this variation. So you see the difference between this and this, right? This and this. And I don't want your feet back here. I want your feet so that your ankles, knees, and hips are stacked. And then everybody's going to have their thighs touching. Right? So you guys love to fold in your backs, but we want to teach you how to fold in your hips. Right? So bend your knees, take your hips back. Everybody else can either be hands here, no wrinkles, or hands here, no wrinkles. Okay? So find your no wrinkles, thighs touching. Then get your ankles, your knees, and your hips stacked, and find that straight back. Good. And then we're just going to lift up that left leg. Keep a bend in the right knee. inside the hip. And you can bring the foot a little lower if you like, but I want you to, without moving the pelvis, internally and externally rotate that leg. So, I'm just taking my leg like a screwdriver, I'm not taking it out to the side, it's staying right in line with that hip. Nice. And then I'm just going to internally and externally rotate. Yeah, right inside the hip, without the pelvis moving. Lifting the bellies, lifting the ribs. Good. And then bring that foot down. Make sure the ankles, the knees, and the hips are stacked, right? We're never going to balance if the feet are back here. We want those ankles right underneath those hips, knees bent, take your butt back, fold at your hip flexors, not your back. Lift up that right leg. Fire up your feet. And without moving the pelvis, internally and externally rotate the right leg at the hip socket. The leg can be level with the pelvis or lower. You can bend the knee a little more if you need to. But we're internally and externally rotating the leg bone in the hip socket. Beautiful. Lift up into the back of the skull a little bit so you got a neutral neck. Try and fold at the hip flexors, not the back. Good. And then bring that foot down. Walk your feet so they're hips distance apart. Bend your knees. Get your hands on your knees. Straighten out your arms. Find a neutral back. Think of that marshmallow back. We don't want this happening. We want to have that non-marshmallow back. See if you can find your arms. Straighten those arms. Push those arms down. Arms are straight. Think of a slight external rotation of the arms. Can you straighten your elbows more, Keith? And can you push into those knees? Push hard, right? The arms are active. Back is active. Good. Then release your elbows. Push yourself up. Palms forward. Shoulders back. Good. So we just did the rotation at the hip, right? And now we're going to do the hip. So that was a screwdriver. This is a book. Does that make sense? I can either externally rotate my leg like a screwdriver, and I don't move my hip, or I can move my hip to get the same result. Does that make sense? There's two movements. Both are good. If we only do one of the movements and not the other movement, not as good, right? So we usually get good at one of them, and then we just do one of them, whereas both movements are required for happy hips and back. Does that make sense? So we're gonna put our hands in our hips, and we're just gonna step that right foot back by moving our right hip back without internally or externally rotating at the screwdriver head. Right? You said it. And then do the other side. Right, so open the book, close the book. So the front opens, the back closes. The front opens, the back closes, right? Different movement, and we don't want to feel the knees in either movement, and we want to have a slight bend in the knee. So let's look at this movement. So whether we've got our hands here with a straight back, right? So we don't want this. This is folding at my back, which is just, I can't say no, I can't say yes. This is me folding at my hips where nature intended me to fold, right? I can say yes, I can say no. There's a big difference between that marshmallow back and that neutral back. So have your hands wherever they need to be, but neutral wrists. So no wrinkles in the wrist, ankles underneath the hips, shoulders relaxed, soften your knees. You can have your leg down and open the hip. You can have your leg up, but the opposite leg doesn't move. So you're using your peripheral vision to watch the right knee. And the right knee doesn't move, the shoulders don't change, the arms don't change. But we open the book, we close the book. We open the book, we close the book. And it's a lot of outer trochanter cutting to groin. It's a lot of sitting your butt into a chair. And you can be as high as you want to be. And then you're going to open that hip to hold. And maybe this is enough. Be honest with yourself. This is a blue run. Push into your feet. You want to go a little bit more black. You bring your hand into the center of the chair. You lift the elbow. You extend the arm for a half moon pose. Right? Maybe you look up. Open that hip. So more important to open the hip than to take your hand up, right? What's your priority? Lift that hip like a book. Good. And then hand, hip down, bring that foot down. If you need to rest, rest. You can bend your knees a couple times. You can imprint an arch. And then when you're ready, find that nice straight spine. marshmallow back, okay? And then bring that right leg up. And then lift the hip and drop the hip. Use your peripheral vision to watch the left arm, left leg. They don't move, they don't change. It's not their business what the right hip is doing. They don't have to be involved, they don't even need an opinion. So bend your knees. Yeah. Move this foot forward. See how the shin's not straight? Yep, so bring it right forward. There we go. And keep the hip back. Try and keep this straight. Good, and then open that hip to hold it open. Find your feet, find all those connections. The ceiling, the roof, the book opens, the book closes, the trochanter goes to groin, you lengthen the inside of the leg, you draw back on the outside of the leg. If you're ready for a bit of a steeper run, you put your left hand in front of your foot and you lift the right elbow. And if that causes you to move the leg, you belong on a different run. You don't have to go to final pose, right? So you see how we're really losing that leg, okay? So better to do this pose really, really well, right? So don't let this hip move, don't let that standing knee move. Better to do this pose really, really well than to try the more technical advanced pose. No need to lift, right? Now, what do we say about wrinkles in those wrists? And then hand comes down, gaze comes down, hip comes down. Take those feet so they're hips distance apart, right? So some of us can have our hands on our knees with that neutral, no marshmallow back. Some of us, it's elbows. Some of us can take our ankles. Some of us can straighten our legs, right? But we do what we can do. So we could be here with a marshmallow back, without a marshmallow back and straighten. We could be here without a marshmallow back and straighten. Both are amazing hamstring stretches. But whatever you're doing, can you eliminate wrinkles? So the elbows come forward. Yeah, if you've got the ankles, the elbows come forward. You see how we started to get this marshmallow back? So we have two options. We either bend the knees to bring the arm bones into the shoulders. Yeah, so right in here, right? Or, and then you can start to straighten, but listen to this part. Right, listen to this. We don't want to create tension there. So now straighten here, but don't change the back. And then this is where it gets tight, so just stay there. No need to go any further. Let's go 5 more breaths here. Lift up the back of the skull so the neck is nice and neutral. I'm not saying wrinkles in the back of the neck, just a nice neutral neck, unless you're training ninja. Let's go 5 more breaths here. How can you get rid of the wrinkles? And then we're going to bend our knees, put our hands onto our knees, straighten out those arms. Good, keep those knees bent, release, and push up. Beautiful. Palms forward, shoulders back, close your eyes, and breathe. All right, let's put our right foot onto the chair on its own side, right? And let's take our hands onto the chair and let's get rid of those wrinkles. And then place your right hand on your knee and just let that kind of move around a little bit. And then let it move around the other way. And then get the knee right over the ankle and just don't allow that knee to move anymore. Now look at that shin. Is it straight up and down? If you took your head over your knee, is that shin straight up and down? Can you make the ankle disappear? Or can you see the shin? Right, get that shin straight. Now the trick here is to not move the knee. So you're going to hold the knee and you're going to step that left leg back without that right knee moving. So try having your left hand on the knee if you can and see if you can keep that knee there. Good. Now lift up the back heel, drop the back heel. Lift up the back heel, drop the back heel. Now, if it is hard for you to keep your knee here and lift and drop your back heel, then you need to bring your foot forward. You need to be able to lift that heel and hold it up. If you can't, then you need to bring your foot closer. Good. So remember, we could screwdriver or we could book the hip. This pose, we book the hip. We open the left hip without the right knee thigh moving, and then we drop that heel down. We push really hard into the baby toe edge of the foot. So opposite way, check me out, Rick. Check me out, I'm gonna lift my heel, and then I'm gonna open my, nope, wait a minute, look at what I'm doing here. It's external, my hip opens like we did on that last pose, and then we drop it down. So you're way too far out there, okay? So you're gonna bring it in, you're gonna lift it up, you're gonna externally rotate, and you're gonna drop that whole heel down, and then you're gonna lift up the arch, and you still may be pretty far out. How's that feel?
Yeah, that's good.
Feels okay? All right, is your knee still over your ankle? Good. Push into the baby toe edge of the foot, don't move the knee, lift up your arch, and up you come. Did you move your knee?
I did.
Yeah. Lift up your arch of the foot. Most of us are collapsing into our arch. Lift your arch, lift your arch, lift your arch. Good. Knee doesn't move, open out to the side. Inhale to bring your arms up. Push your hands onto an imaginary table and extend. So we see how that knee's moving. So you're not allowed to take your hand off the knee. Right? If you can't control your knee, you keep your hand on your knee. Right? If you can control your knee, let the hand come up. Good. Reach with your hands. Now cut your outer trochanter to your inner groin. Lengthen from inner groin to inner knee. Lengthen from inner knee to inner ankle. Ceiling lifts, roof pushes back. If it's too much, you can just come forward. You could always walk this foot in, right? Lots of options here. Good. 5 more breaths here. Did your knee move? Good. Is the pinky toe edge of the back foot straight? It depends. This is easier. This is how the pose is meant to be. If you want to get a T-band stretch. Yeah. And then from here, bend that back knee, bring your right elbow onto your right knee. Lengthen the underside. So does anyone know the name of that last pose? Warrior. Elbow and knee, right? Hold here, push your butt towards your groin. Maybe if your knee's not moving, look out, Deb, that knee's trying to move. If your knee's not moving and you don't bulge on this side, you can bring your hand down. You could, again, black diamond, sweep your arm up. Or you can just keep your hand on your head. And it's more of a Superman. It could be a T-arm to start with, but then we externally rotate and bring it into a Superman. And just go easy on yourself, right? We're not shoving ourselves into a posture. Now, look down. Make sure that that knee doesn't move. Reach up with your arm, bend your knee, come up. Beautiful. Bring your hand onto your knee, bring your hand onto your chair. Pick up your back heel, pivot to neutral by bringing your hip forward, not screwdriver. Bend both knees, step it in gently without your right knee moving. See if you can get your weight over that ankle. So a lot of us try to balance here, right? Get that ankle right underneath your pelvis. Bend your knee a little bit. Good. Shoulders back, hands on hips, lift your chest, lift the back of that right leg. Lift it as high as you can, fire up your foot. If balance is tricky, just work it here. I really like everyone to bend their standing leg. And there's options. We could grab our leg here, we could grab our leg here, or we could just keep our hands onto our hips. We could do a shin lift. Right, and we can do a shin lift here. Or not. Balance is what we're looking for here. Can you look with a neutral neck? Can you get the front of the throat to open? Right? And then you just start lifting, lifting. It's a lot of elbows. Just like that forward fold we just looked at, you want to think wrinkle-free wrists. You got to really sit your butt into a chair, and then you just think, lift the ceiling, lift the ceiling, lift the ceiling. You think really strong internal rotation. Right? Really strong internal rotation. And you just take it to where you can. Let's go 5 more breaths here. Wherever you're at is great, right? It doesn't have to be epic. If you can't get your foot up, you do your foot you feel it in the standing knee when you put your foot up? So you need to bend it. Your mantra, feet bend, feet bend, feet bend. So that's a good start, just lifting that heel. And then release, Tadasana. Look at your feet. Are they straight? Are they hips distance apart? Again, we're just training our bodies to behave in a different way. But we have to pay attention if we want them to behave differently. November is standing poses. Gets us ready for the holiday season. Gets us through the crazy transition. So if it's a lot, you're just way closer to your chair, right? It's going to give you more support. You're going to pick up your left foot and you're going to put your left foot on the chair. And then you're going to come forward, you're going to hold onto the chair, no wrinkles in your wrists, nice active arms. You could bang out a couple shoulder push-ups here, right? Arm goes in, arm goes out. When I go out, I can't say no. When I go in a little bit, oof, I can shoulder check, right? Take your left hand onto your left knee and just make a few circles to remind yourself that you're not going to move the knee, you give it a chance to move. And then you keep the knee steady, left hand on left knee, and there's no problem staying right here. Or you can bend that right knee and you can hop it back without the left knee moving. And then you see if you can go up and down with that right heel without the back or the knee changing. Good. And then we pick up the heel. So remember, this is an open the hip without the knee or the quad moving. Drop the heel down, lift up the arch of the foot. So if that knee is coming in, you've gone too far with your foot. So you see how this butt's going out and that knee's coming in. So let's do less. Yeah. So if you're going to hop it, you've got to hop it from neutral. Yeah. If you can't get your heel right down, your arch lifted, do less. Go back to neutral and bring it in a little closer. Nice. Again, really push into the baby toe edge and up you come. Little bend in that back knee, and if you want to come up, you come up, but the knee doesn't move, right? There's no movement in the knee, and then without the leg moving, you open your torso as much as you can without the knee being affected. So hand on the knee is a nice option. Opposite hand, and you can keep your hand down, but just you can support that knee if you need to, right? You can even go 2 hands on the knee, or you can bring it all the way up. So that knee, look at that knee. Can we keep it over the ankle?
Yeah.
Good. So that's your priority. It has nothing to do with your arm. Literally. I just want you to learn how to control this. You see how that's not straight? So let's bring that toe here. Yeah. Or the knee back, one or the other. But this stays. Don't worry about that. You've done tons of shoulder work, right? Tons. You don't need to do it here if you need to protect this. Good stuff. All right. Lengthen from inner groin to inner knee, inner ankle. Draw back. Beautiful. What am I going to tell you to do with your belly over there? Zip, 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 right?
I thought I was zipping.
It's a pendulum, right? Like it's when you think you're doing it, not so much. Maybe the hand comes down, maybe the elbow comes down, maybe you just stay here, right? This is going to get deeper and deeper and deeper. You don't have to get deeper and deeper and deeper. You really don't. Watch that knee there, Keith. You see how we're losing it? So go back to hand on knee, hand on hip, control it, okay? If you're in control here, you're skiing, everybody's safe, then you bring your arm up. Right? Or here, whatever you fancy, whatever feels good, and you push into the baby toe edge of the foot, and you open up the hip, maybe the arm comes down. And then you imagine the outside of the leg wants to close the book, the inside of the leg wants to open the book. Yeah, this is so good for you. There's a bench everywhere you go. Every dog park, every kid's park, right? Every walk, every hike, there's going to be a bench. Let's go 10 more breaths. When those 10 breaths are complete, reach with your arms, push into the feet. Those of us that aren't sure, put your hand on your knee. Don't let that knee move. Beautiful. Rotate back, hand on chair. Pick up your heel, rotate your hip. We never want to jump forward and back at our max stretch. We go back to something more mellow. Hand on knee, we just gently hop it in. Good. And then we get that foot here, opposite foot on the chair, hands on hips, elbows back. Zip, zip, zip your belly, sit your butt into a chair. Lift the back of that left leg. Elbows active, arms active, shoulders active. Maybe you grab behind the leg, maybe you grab the foot, maybe you do a shin lift. Okay? And you just stay. You don't just rush it. You kind of find bus stops. Before you do a double black, you always do green, right? If you're smart. And you're always saying, am I going too fast? Are my feet engaged? Are my knees tracking my squeeze? Right? So back foot, Joanna, you feel your shin, you feel how your leg is straight, right? So what did I show you before? We moved our foot forward so our shin was straight, right? Huge for you. There we go. And then once we've done our check, 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 if I'm a marshmallow backer, I make sure I'm never marshmallow backing, and that's my business. I don't worry about anybody else's business until I'm nailing my marshmallow back business. Right? And then we just think ceiling, 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 ceiling. Right? Lengthening that hamstring. And then maybe we find the arm. Right? Or not. Wherever you are is good. Wherever you are is fabulous. Give me 10 more breaths. Right? Bend the standing leg. Push into the big toe mountain. If that's your business. Right? You just got to worry about your business, not my business. And release. Beautiful. Palms forward, shoulders back, find your breath. And so here again, what's your business? What do you need to spend your time and energy on? It's not the same as me. It's not the same as anyone else in this room. What do I keep telling you? That's your business. Hands on the hip flexors, slide them back to your knees, minding your business. Arms straight, back straight. So if this is your business, you need to really work on this, find a neutral neck here. Relax your shoulders. Some of us, elbows on knees is our business. Some of us can grab our ankles, and that's our business, but our backs haven't changed. And then if we find our business, then we can play with the depth by straightening and bending our legs, right? Without compromising our back. It's like trying to write the MCATs before you've taken any of the prereqs. Right? It's better to take a course, write a couple quizzes, course. Once you've nailed all the courses, then you spend the 500, 5,000, whatever it is to write the MCATs. You don't try and write the MCATs without any of the prereqs because it's just a waste of money. And then you find your forward fold, whatever that is. Let your head hang in this one and breathe. See if you can get rid of any wrinkles in your wrist. Adjust your elbows. Inside of the leg opens, outside of the leg closes. Ceiling lifts. Roof pushes back. So this here, right? So keep your hands where they are, I don't mind. Straighten your arms. Straighten your arms. This is your elbow, straighten. Yeah, good. Now slip your back, straighten your arms. Yeah, so, and try and get rid of the wrinkles in your wrist. You're not getting it at all. Bend your knees, straighten your arms. Good. So now, little mini bend in the elbows. Now find a neutral spine, lift your head. You feel the difference here, right? This is your business. Don't wrinkle your wrists, reach with your elbows. Yeah, don't change this. Okay. You feel the difference, okay? Now stay there because you do not have to compromise the back. Then all you have to do, right? And there's no compromising your back. Again, educator, right? There you go. No wrinkles here. Right? So then pull these arm bones in. And try it. There you go. Does it feel different?
Yeah.
It's hard to get.
I know. I have to remember to lift with my wrist part rather than
You keep wanting to pull into that pose, and you just lost it right there. You feel it? Do you feel how it gets bunchy right here? And then go back to, you started to get a little marshmallow in there too, eh? Go back to straight back, bent knees, hands on the knees, nice straight spine. And a forward fold is magic if we learn how to do it, right? Appropriate for our body. It's not appropriate if we don't do it right. And then release the arms, up we come, palms forward, shoulders back, see if you can find your breath. Big inhales, big exhales. All right, so I'm gonna use your mat real quick, okay? So, we're gonna look at back bending, and so this is what it looks like, okay? You're gonna take your mat to a wall, and you're gonna have your head pretty close to that wall. So now a lot of us, our arms are gonna be here, right? And we're gonna do this, right? Those of us that can, we're either gonna do our arms here with our elbows super active, not moving, right? Or we're gonna do our arms here, right? Those of us that get our arms here are gonna do this. We're gonna hold that as long as we can. Then we're gonna do this. Hold that as long as we can. We go back and forth from this as long as we can to that, but the elbows aren't moving. If we're here, we can just work on this, but without moving our elbows. If we're here, we work on this without moving our elbows. So the only reason our palm would be on the wall is if the entire circumference of the palm is on the wall and we are nailing a 90-degree angle. So let's look at our arms and let's look at what a 90-degree angle looks like, right? So our elbows are not wider than our shoulders and our elbows are remaining at a 90. So if I'm here and my entire palm isn't down and I'm unable to keep a 90, then I'm gonna go back here, which is a lot of us, right? And the beauty of hearing your business, it allows other people to do their business, right? But if I'm babysitting black diamond skiers, green skiers on a black diamond run, then it's hard for anybody to ski black diamond, if that makes sense. So you have to really hear what I said. 90 here or arms on the floor. Otherwise, I have to babysit you and I can't teach Winoa. Sound good? And she only has a month. We have a month to cram this stuff into her. Okay. Let's do it. We're gonna come down. When we come down, hands on the knees. We bear down onto the floor, right? We can either come over through a squat, or we can take our feet out to one side, hands up to the other side, butt down, sweep the legs through. And then we're gonna come down onto our backs. So knees together, feet together, ankles together, we come down. Knees and feet are a hips distance or a shoulders distance, but they're straight. Start with the arms beside you unless you've done the other pose before. Arms beside you, push into your fingers, push into your palms, lift your pelvis. So we start with a little bridge pose. And we work on getting the entire circumference of the palms down, all the fingers down, the elbows down, the shoulders down. We try and get our knees right underneath those hips. So yeah, exactly. Now you feel how there's more weight on the baby toe edge. So you think of a ball between your knees. If it's hard to have the weight even in the feet, then, so babe, you need to do the first stage first. So you can do hands at the wall. Remember I said lift the upper back as long as you can? Like her, but lift the back. Yeah, makes sense? Find your feet here. So arms are beside us, we're lifting, we're moving the flesh of the butt away from the low back. Now feel your shins. Eventually we want our shins at a 90. So that means we may have to walk our feet back to us, or it means we may have to walk our feet away from us. So next time, try and gauge where you need your feet to be. Lift this butt. And then now lift this butt to counter it. There you go. And then come down one disc, one vertebra at a time. And then for the rest, between our back bends, it's just arms beside us, palms facing up, shoulders relaxed. Beautiful. We keep our eyes open and we do our absolute best not to blink. So everybody's in the rest. Everybody's resting. Pelvis on the floor, eyes open, resting, let down. Palms up in the rest. It's either legs straight or knees bent, whatever you fancy. And then we're going to do another round, okay? So if that was super, super easy, you 100% know that you're keeping your feet, you know you're keeping your shins, you're nailing it, then you can do different arms. But that's not most of us, right? We haven't done the work yet. So either staying with your arms beside you or putting your hands at the wall, either at the edge of the wall or the actual wall, and see if you can do the upper back lift, pelvis lift. And you can plug your hands to the floor, try it. So just bring it right down. Nope. There you go. This will be intense. So right pinky finger edge. Yeah, there you go. And then bring it in a tiny bit. Is that in the wrist? So it's either a little bridge like you just did, maybe you try and bring your feet in, and you come down, down first, and then maybe you try and bring your feet, wait for what I say, towards your butt. Keep them the same width. So go back to the width you were. So bring your pelvis down. We want to move those feet with the pelvis in the air, and then feet wider again. Yeah, good. So now try it. So if you were trying to increase the bend in the knee, that's your business. So you try and get the shins more underneath the knees. That's more of a bend, less of a bend. Stretches the quad, right? So that's your side. Nice. And then when you're down, now lift your head and your upper back. Yeah. It's a good go for you. And as long as it's not pain in the wrist, then we can get bird listening too, right? So try with hands on the floor. Yeah, there you go. And use the wall. Good. Look for symmetry. And you hold that as long as you like. You rest when you need to. You know the rest. You rest with a neutral spine. And then when you're done resting, you try again. So you feel, can you feel that your knees are wide, your feet are narrow? So I want you to go wider with your feet. Yep, go wider with your feet. Good. Now try and keep your knees right over your ankles. So your business is a ball right here. Squeeze the hands. Squeeze them, don't come away from them. That's your business, right? And when you're biking, you need to find that business. Because I guarantee you're biking like this, right? So when you're biking, you want to put a ball between your knees and squeeze it. Push against me. Nope, push against me. Hold that for 10 breaths. This is what you need to work on. And so rest when you need to rest. Go back to it when you want to go back to it. If you want to do an erga and that's your business, you do an erga. If you don't know what an erga is, it's not your business. That's simple. If you don't know what it means, it's not meant for you, right? So now let's see. Come down. Bring your feet closer to your butt, both of you girls. Yeah. And your business is to keep these palms down the whole time, right? We can't go any further until you have control over those hands, right? That's your business. And that looks nice. Come down, put your head to the wall, try and put your hands on the wall. And I bet you can go pinky fingers to the edge. Yeah, and go shoulders distance. Now that your mat is proper. I'm just a weirdo. Can you roll up? Sure. I just don't want your, I'm not saying
That's why I get here for week one.
Wendy, come down real quick and show her how you lift your upper back. Watch this. Can you look? See how she's doing that? That's what you're going to do. Pelvis on the floor, she's going to lift everything else. So head to the wall. You rest when you need to rest. You repeat the pose when you need to. So maybe bending your knees more is your business. Maybe making sure your knees are tracking your ankles is your business. So pelvis stays down. I don't want you to feel your wrists at all. Get those palms down. Get the base of the index down. Base of the index. That's right down.
Yeah.
Does it hurt your wrists at all?
No, it doesn't hurt my wrist. It just hurts my thumb a bit, but it feels like a nice stretch.
Okay, as long as it's not sharp pain.
Yeah.
Now lift your upper back and head, not your pelvis. Shoulders, not your neck. I want you to push down and try and lift here. Lift up my fingers. Yeah,
Okay.
now lift your head a little bit. There you go, that's what I'm looking for. Wrists feel good. And you hold that and then you rest it because
I
it's for a
don't
moment.
think I can.
Shh. If you say the words, I don't think I can, never gonna happen. The little train didn't say I don't think I can.
I'm not a little trick.
You can't, yeah.
An old caboose.
Yeah. Right? So now leave it, now lift your pelvis. So you go back and forth. Can do a lot of things now, you can, right? Had a lot of foot pain, a lot of hand pain, it's better, right? This will get better.
This is my upper, so with that, going up.
So push your pelvis down and lift up here. Push your pelvis down, not your head. Lift here. Yeah, now lift your head.
That.
It is, but it's just retraining your brain on that
Okay.
work, right? It's a lot for reception too, right? It's awkward. You got 1 more minute to finish up, so if you want to do one more, you can. So now your business, I would say, is a block between your thighs until we really get this to stop. It keeps cheating, right? So until it stops cheating. Finding that. Well, you get it when I give it to you, and then you can hold it. So Deb, not your business. Yeah. Right? You stick with your business. Your business is palms all the way down, elbows all the way down, shoulders all the way down. Good. That's your business. One more time, Shelby. Just want to see it. You got it. Yeah. I like to see the other one. Nice. Yeah, it's neutral. It's good.
Just learning some muscles.
It's brain, right? It's just, yeah. It's a lot of brain. And then for after that last one, you're just gonna give those legs a nice big hug. Just pull them in. You can rock or not rock. I tend to not rock when I've done deep twisting and back bend, because then I'm working more digestion. So then I want to get those thighs in as close as I can, whether I go behind my thighs or over my shins. I try and get my thighs close. I squeeze my knees and my ankles. I try and bring my tailbone down, and then I work on belly breath versus rocking, because that's proper wing remover, which is digestive. And the combination of back bend, the twist, which we did, the triangle twist and the warrior twist, is great for digestion. So we might be able to get things moving down that track, especially after Halloween, because I'm sure nobody indulged in people's candy. I don't think the small candies count. They're just so little. But you may be wanting to get the nervous system. Swap the crossing if you're doing something that requires symmetry. Big belly breaths. And then for Shavasana, I love it. And we have the chairs. This is such a nice back release to have the backs of the legs on the chairs, the arms beside you, palms up as you come into Shavasana. If you prefer just regular Shavasana, that's totally fine. But we're going to do a Yoga Nidra. So, getting yourself nice and comfortable. Move what you have to move so you don't have to move. And Yoga Nidra is a subconscious meditation designed to rid ourselves of habitual behaviors. And our subconscious doesn't understand negative language, so we don't use negative words with our intention or sankapala. It would be like you would say, I am free of addiction, as opposed to I do not smoke. Because if you said I do not smoke, you're really saying I smoke. And then you leave yoga and you no cigarette. So finding a statement of something you're trying to rid your subconscious of, that's stating it as if it was already true. Make any adjustments you need to make now so that you can be perfectly still. For the practice of Yoga Nidra now begins. For this practice, we're going to take a trip through the different parts of our body. And as I name the different parts of the body, you are to simultaneously become aware of that part of your body and encourage it to relax. Maybe even silently saying the name of that body part to yourself after me as you encourage that part of your body to relax. The practice always begins with the right hand. Right hand thumb. Second finger. Third. Fourth. Fifth finger. Back of the right hand. Palm of the hand. Right wrist. Lower arm. Elbow. Upper arm. Right shoulder. Armpit. Chest. Right rib cage, waist, hip, buttock, right thigh, knee, calf, shin, right ankle, heel, sole of the right foot, right big toe, second toe, third, fourth, fifth toe. Now for the left side of the body. Left hand thumb, second finger, third, fourth, fifth finger. Back of the left hand, palm of the hand, left wrist, lower arm, elbow, upper arm, left shoulder, armpit, chest, left rib cage, waist, hip, buttock, left thigh, knee, calf, shin, left ankle, heel, sole of the left foot, top of the foot, left big toe, second toe, third, fourth, fifth toe. Whole of the right arm. Evenly, simultaneously feel the whole of the right arm. Whole of the right leg. Evenly, simultaneously feel the whole of the right leg. Whole of the left arm. Evenly, simultaneously feel the whole of the left arm. Whole of the left leg. Evenly, simultaneously feel the whole of the left leg. Whole of the right arm, whole of the right leg. Feel both right arm and right leg together. Feel the whole right side together. Feel your whole right side. Whole of the left arm, whole of the left leg. Feel both left arm and left leg together. Feel the whole left side together. Feel your whole left side. Heavy. Whole of the right side of the body. Whole of the left side of the body. Feel both right side and left side together. Feel your whole body together. Feel your whole body lying perfectly still, and within your whole body begin to cultivate gratitude. We cultivate gratitude by thinking of one thing or many things for which we are truly grateful. So allowing yourself to cultivate gratitude right now by thinking of one thing or many things for which you are truly grateful. Feeling overwhelmed, all consumed with gratitude. Grateful in the knowing that it is through gratitude that we create the most fertile soil upon which we plant seeds of intention. So allowing yourself to plant a seed. State your intention 3 times as if it were already true and existed in your life. State your intention 3 times right now. Then once again, gratitude. Grateful in the knowing that this seed, this intention which you have planted, should you choose to care for it, to nurture it, it will bloom and it will grow into your reality. Becoming aware of your natural, spontaneous breath within your body. Slowly, gently, begin to wake your body by deepening that breath. For the practice of Yoga Nidra is now complete. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Maybe inhale to reach for the ceiling or the floor. And then bend your legs to you one at a time. Maybe give those legs a hug. Maybe rock from side to side. And then eventually you're going to roll off to your side and make your way to a comfortable seated position. We're going to end with a nice big group Om before we dedicate the merit of our practice. May we use this class so that all beings may find happiness. May we all be free of disease. May we see what is auspicious, and may no one suffer. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti Hi. Peace, peace, peace. Thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your practice. Namaste. Namaste, everybody. And so we say namaste 3 times. First we say namaste to ourselves because we're our own best teacher. And then we say namaste to our yoga friends because we learn off each other, right? We get to see someone else's habits. And then we say namaste to Chandra, the teacher of teachers. And then the teacher of teachers of teachers of teachers, right? That's that last namaste.
When
And
you
she's
were
the best teacher.
you were talking about her right hand, and I thought, I'm really feeling this, and she was looking at it.
She everybody. Be well.
I think people